Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first iteration of the top 25 period in Galaxy of Heroes, well, excluding Galactic Legends, because that's a whole nother topic on its own, and it's obvious that they are the top 7 characters in the game. Cubs fan Han used to do this ranking regularly, and I loved watching it. He had some pollsters report to him, and he determined what his community sentiment of the top 25 characters was. He last did, I think, last January, so perfect time to do it. And he also just retired, so rest in peace for SWGOH Cubs. And this is my iteration of the top 25 characters in SWGOH. And first off, unlike him, I do not have pollsters. This is just my opinion of the best 25 characters in the game. And I am judging based on performance in pretty much every game mode, but I do value PvP higher than PvE and GAC higher than TW. Stuff like that, and conquest is higher than like raids and stuff, even though raids are important. That's mostly just galactic legend territory. And I could be wrong. This is very hard to decide everything, and I'm going to be showing 5 at a time, and then I'll show some honorable mentions at the end. But first off, 21 through 25, these are actually all marquee characters, which is surprising. They beat out plenty of Journey Guide characters on their own. I got Dash at 25. I still think he is good, even without his Super Datacron. And his ship is important, although he is not as good as he was with that, of course. I think Mara Jade beats him out for his Marquee class. She's amazing, especially in Territory War under Emperor Palpatine. Just very scary. Just unlimited turn meter train for her. Bosk, super important. Has the best ship in the game, the most versatile ship in the game, and the most go-to bounty hunter leader for a great faction other than Jabba the Hutt. And Iden Versio, amazing. Iden Versio and Radis, the two best marquee characters from 2022. In my opinion, Radis is the leader of the best fleet in the game, or he's the capital ship pilot, or the admiral. And Iden is just incredible. She takes a bunch of otherwise pretty much useless Imperial troopers and makes them amazing. Getting 100% turn meter, amazing. Kind of like Han Solo. She's like Night Sister Zombie as well. Cleanses her whole team. Unlimited counterattacks. Awesome GAC Omicron. Just two great characters. And Radis can hold his own on land as well as in the air. Not to mention all these characters amazing in Conquest. Bosk less so than when Amplify Agony was in play, but still great characters for that game mode in PvE. Next, for the 16th through 20th, we got Mace Windu, Chewbacca, Admiral Piet, General Kenobi, and Grand Inquisitor. Mace Windu had a very successful rework in 2022, vaulting him up this high. Before, he was just a really bad character. He just is so flexible, can slot into so many teams. He can go into a standard Galactic Republic team. He can go under Jedi Master Kenobi. Even under Jedi Knight Revan, he'd find a lot of use. And he is my favorite to bring with Jedi Master Kenobi against Jabba as opposed to General Kenobi. Swapping turn meter is awesome, and he's got some great Territory War Omicrons. But I love all that he does. Shatterpoint is now functioning like it should have at the beginning, even though it might have been too strong for then. But he is just an awesome character, and glad to see him in the prominent role he should have. Chewbacca, he's great. He's a great Journey Guide character. He's tied to Han Solo and Commander Luke. Still very good. That guard mechanic is still top notch. Assisting all the time is great for those. And that extra 20% health damage is very nice. Also a pilot to one of the better ships in the game. That's part of the best fleets in the game. It's probably a top, that and Houndstooth are probably the top 2 ships in the game that aren't capital ships. And speaking of capital ships, Admiral Piet, he gets this high because of the Executor, second best ship in the game. Amazing fleet, and it still can handle profundity easily on its own. So it's really just the top 2 there. But if it was all about ships, Radis would be higher than Piet, and that's not the case. Piet makes the Imperial Trooper faction incredible. The Emperor's Trap mechanic is one of the best there is. It was broken with set 4 Datacrons, but right now it's just very nice and balanced, and Imperial Troopers is just a great team. It's a great early game team, great late game team, can really punch up over their weight class. And then General Kenobi, of course, again, if we were talking just capital ships, he would be lower than these two. But he is so functional with so many good teams. Of course, he is best under Jedi Master Kenobi, but also works super well under Padme. I used to run him under Jedi Knight Revan back in the old days, before I had all those other teams. But he is just the consummate tank. He used to be recommended for every marquee because he works so well with any team. He gives force set up to the whole team, create immunity up to the whole team, calls everyone to assist, cleanses everyone. Great character. And then Grand Inquisitor, now that I've actually got my hands on him and got to play with him, he is very formidable. People like to trash on Inquisitors, but they are quite strong, and he just, so many mechanics he has are just over the top. He has an AoE that cleanses everyone, equalizes health and protection, and inflexibility block, probably my favorite move on him. Torture is a great mechanic, and he can hit 3 times on his basic if they have enough purge. Great leader, great character overall in Grand Inquisitor. And now for 11 through 15, we're getting really high here. And we got, and just to note, I have these colored differently to separate their their 5 groups, but these are not tiers. All these characters are A tier, S tier. But we got Commander Luke, Darth Vader, Dr. Aphra, Darth Traya, and Han Solo. So Darth Traya is vaulting much higher than she would have otherwise been because of her Omicron. If you watch my Journey Guide ranking and Sith ranking even, those are pre-Omicron, so I kind of disrespected her a bit back then. But she is much better with that Omicron and Grand Arena, which is probably the most important game mode, in my opinion. So she's right above Han Solo, who's also incredible. He is one of the longest lasting characters, most durable kits in the game. Shooting first and stunning and avoiding taunt will always have a place in the game. He also does great damage and cycles through his turn meter very well. And Dr. Aphra, while still somewhat a question mark and seems to be much better on offense than defense, she still appears to be quite a strong character, so I think she merits getting 13. She can take on Galactic Legends even without Omicrons in play on offense, so she is very strong, and she probably should be higher, but kind of the jury's out for me still. She doesn't do that well on defense. Darth Vader, just a little bit higher. Maybe he's a little high. You let me know, but he's a great character. He's the only day 1 character on this list in the top 25 still to this day. Used to be much better, got nerfed, but still very formidable. Great under Palpatine, but most of the time stays under Lord Vader, but he can do some things on his own in the leadership position. He enables Lord Vader to solo the Sith Raid, so he is still quite strong. And then Commander Luke Skywalker, I don't know, maybe he's still a little too high, but he is just a great leader for the Rebels. He gives out turn meter to everyone, gives counter chance. There's so many things. He works so well, even without Han and Chewie. He gets me plenty of holds on defense and 3v3 when he's just with 3PO and then C3PO, Chewpio and C3PO. Maybe he's a little high, but I still think he's one of the best leaders in the game. Now, over 6 through 10, gets a lot of Old Republic here. So this probably used to be the top 5 in the game, or except Maul, because he's newer. This was probably the top 4 characters in the game at one point, I think in 2019. But since the game has changed quite a bit. So we got Watt at rank 10, just a great plug-and-play character, obviously got nerfed. That weapon tech is not such a weapon tech anymore, but still great plug-and-play, allows a lot of teams to punch up with that shield generator, the tank tech, as we call it, with protection recovery, cleansing all the time, and then also that if you're able to give out the other techs, those are going to help a team just as well too. And Trench just got announced. I don't know if Watt's going to have a permanent home with him, but it looks pretty good. Then Maul, amazing conquest character, great leader in his own right, amazing under Lord Vader, can be combined with Lord Vader to make probably the second best team in the game. He just does so much. He is so much better than I had expected when he first came out and read his kit. His leadership didn't seem that overwhelming, but now it is quite good. And Jedi Knight Revan. I still love Jedi Knight Revan. He is still very flexible. He's great with Jedi. And he can be used to, I don't know, take a lot of counters to the next level. When you put him with Jedi Master Luke, he facilitates things so well, makes Jedi Master Luke have a revive himself with Savior, even though Revan's not in the leader slot. And for a while, he used to be the leader over Jedi Master Luke. People weren't using that lead. But now with R9, it's a pretty easy choice. And then Darth Revan and Malak. You know, they go together. Malak has solo potential, and Darth Revan can do something on his own. Especially in 3v3, but they're both so good. The fear mechanic is one that I am still personally very weary of, even though it's been a few years since it's come out. It's just an AoE irresistible fear is always something I am so worried about when facing Darth Revan. He does so many things for his team. He can't reduce their turn meter. He ramps up their damage to a crazy degree when he's in the leader slot. And Malak is just a solo monster, and you're just afraid to hit him. I mean, who else are you afraid to actually just hit in the game? So super strong. This is probably a former top 5 at some point, but right now it's ranked 6 through 10. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for, the top 5 characters that are not Galactic Legends in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, including Journey Guide characters, Conquest characters, and marquees. Not really marquees up here. But we got General Skywalker, Commander Tano, Malgus, Luke Skywalker, and Starkiller. So last year when Cubs did his top 25, the only one not in this top 5, I think, was Malgus. And Malgus is amazing. He is a pseudo-galactic legend on his own. He's one of the only characters where I basically feel the need to use a galactic legend to get through him. And if I can't, when I try another lineup, it's very iffy. When I tried to use Jedi Knight Luke to beat him, it didn't turn out so well for me. So he gets a little bit higher than Jedi Knight Luke. And it's crazy. I mean, all you had to do was show up for one of those conquests if you were playing the game at that time, and you'd have one of these top 5 characters. Of course, Conquest is a very hard... Conquest characters are very hard to get if you miss that conquest or if you are a lower GB character at that time, so that is very unforgiving. But all these characters are just so good. Starkiller is pretty tied to Grand Arena, but he also has Territory War viability if you're willing to give a couple Omicrons out to Juhani or Mara Jade. But he is so strong at leading from the back. He's not the actual leader, but he does so many things for his team, makes him so durable, so deadly, and he's a Galactic Legend killer when you use him on offense right. And then Commander Tano and General Skywalker. It's kind of tough between those two. You know, there's an argument for Commander Ahsoka to be the top because of that insta-kill and the insane boost she gives to her teams. And her flexibility she works with unaligned Force users, Scoundrels, and Galactic Republic, but mostly Galactic Republic. However, she is not the keystone to her team. She needs a leader, and she needs a Galactic Legend to realize her full potential, but General Skywalker, he realizes it all on his own with just his clones under him. He can counter Galactic Legend Ray if you play it right. I've even beaten a Ben Solo team in Territory War with just the Gas 5 at first. And when he got nerfed, it honestly was a great thing for him because he got taken away from Jedi teams and put with a 5 at first again. And it's such a great team. They can handle Darth Malgus pretty well, easily in Territory War, and then pretty easily in Grand Arena, but he just is still exercising his dominance as the best non-Galactic Legend character in the game. And it just shows how well the game is balanced after Galactic Legends came out, that he was the last meta before Galactic Legends, and he is still on top today. So that's it. Let me know what you think of this top 25 list, but I also have some honorable mentions. So here are the honorable mentions I thought of. These are the ones that were on the cusp, could have made it in the bottom 5. If I extended it to top 30, 5 of these would definitely be in there. And I might be missing some even here. But these are not in any order. It's not Cam best, Chupia worst, although that'd be closer than the reverse. But these are all super strong characters. Some of them are limited to game mode, some are more situational, so they don't make it up. And some used to be perennial top 25s. C-3PO, Yoda, Grievous, Padme. I have C-3PO twice, that's a mistake. But they used to be perennial top 25 characters, and I just think there's an argument that they're not anymore. But anyway, that's it. Let me know what you think. Who of these should be in the top 25, and who am I missing even in the honorable mentions? Thanks for watching. See you next time.